So third-party characters in Smash, they've been getting at it a lot recently. And while I'm personally somebody who thinks that they should focus on the first party again, specifically just characters who haven't been in yet and should have been playable several games ago, and then focus on the rest later, I did a whole entire video series on that, so you could just check that out if you want to. I'm here to talk about third-party characters today, specifically ones that seem to have a low chance of getting in or aren't that talked about, at least to me. While I think it would be cool to have in characters like Doomguy and Ryuhei Hayabusa and Crash, and even Sora, who's probably not that likely but gets talked about a lot. And then Gino, who's currently my most wanted and expected character to be in. I really fucking hope he's playable finally coming up. I'm not here to talk about them. I'm here for characters that probably most likely are not going to be in this game. And the following four I'm going to be talking about are not in any particular order. And if anybody is mentioned here who you want in or you think would be interesting, but they're not in this video, it could possibly be for any of the reasons I mentioned earlier up above, either because they have a good chance of getting in or they're heavily talked about. And then there's also, I want to mention, additional Echo Fighters or just second reps in general for franchises that are already in the game, like putting in, I don't know, like Raiden as an Echo Snake or something, or putting in Tails as his own entire character. That's a whole other can of worms I'm not going to be open here, just new franchises in this video. But anyway, to get started with the first character, this is somebody who you could see coming if you've been on my channel for a while and remember stuff, because I made a trailer for him, and that's Chrono from Chrono Trigger. Now, while Chrono Trigger is still a super iconic and well-loved game, I feel like his chances are low just because of the Square representation that we already got. We already got Hero, and getting things from Square seems really hassly and hard and unnecessarily annoying. And then there's also the competition, like of course Gino is super expected to be coming and wanted, and then even Lara Croft has been mentioned a lot recently. So that's just where I think he's hindered. But to briefly talk about moveset potential, even though that's not much of an issue, I think he would probably be somewhere in between Hero and Cloud, but mainly just his own character entirely, in terms of style that is. And he could use Cleave as an up special, and like the Wind Slash is like a neutral special projectile, and of course he has the lightning magic. And while he has like this like light katana, he would probably be using these really strong and aggressive sword slashes. Like just imagine him like flinging aggressively for his sword smash. It could probably represent his critical hit animation. And while Chrono Trigger is famous for its dual and triple attacks, I don't know if they could utilize that or how deeply they would develop him, just because that would mean bringing in other characters. I don't think he would borrow anything kind of like Ness does. But yeah, that could be safe for a Final Smash, if anything, if not like Lumineer or Crashing of the Epoch. And then just a brief mention of his introduction when he comes in for a match. It would probably just be coming off a time portal. That's just like obvious to do. Now the next character I'm bringing up, I think he's probably the most unlikely here. He's definitely the less talked about. And it's hard to say when compared to the last character I plan on speaking of, but he's at least like popular discussion-wise almost. But I'm going to be talking about Kiryu from the Yakuza series. And while I think Kiryu has like less likely chance because he's just like a lesser Sega franchise, sort of, the series is popular. But I don't really know if Nintendo would want a character that's connected to the Yakuza in real life, even though I doubt they might really care. It's hard to say. That's just a thing I'm going to throw in. But he's just not really like too relevant to the history of gaming or Nintendo consoles, nor is he like as popular as Joker from Persona 5 is. But despite that, I think he would be a really fun character to play as, just like the super quick martial artist guy who switches around with this fast hand-to-hand combat. And while he has like the different mode styles, I don't think they would like change his whole entire moveset with each one if switching is a mechanic, just because that would be too much to do to make him like a different character each time. It would probably just be like the Minato arts, but not with a sword user, with the hand-hand combatant. But even despite that, Kiryu is more than that. He uses objects and various environmental hazards lying around in the game to beat the shit off people. And he could use he could utilize those in his moveset, such as like using a forward smash, like fling a bicycle or something. And while I'm talking about Kiryu, this is stretching it even further, but I would love to see Goro Majima as an Echo Fighter of him, just because I love Goro. Like, just imagine how insane that would be to have both of them, and have Goro be like this more wild version of him. And if you're at all wondering if Yakuza has even had a game on Nintendo console, it has. It went for the Wii U, but it was Japan only, unfortunately. Now, the next character I'm going to speak of might have the most likely chance to be in. However, I feel like that since he wasn't in Smash 4, that could have just been missing the boat forever. And he's not really as popular anymore, at least in the US. And I'm going to be talking about Janemba from the Yokai Watch series. Now, Yokai Watch is easy to bring up because all of their games have been on Nintendo consoles. They debuted there, and it was kind of a big deal on the 3DS back when it was new. But people like to compare the series to Pokemon, even though I think that's kind of unfair and inaccurate, just because it's like another collectathon genre. But while they do have their similarities, they're completely different games, but that's not really the point. Is that he's almost like a secondary like company mascot on the 3DS and now the Switch. And Janemba, for moveset-wise, he's a fire-based yokai, so he could use all of those moves. He would be like a very small and nimble, bouncy, quick fire user. And unlike Charizard and Sonora, who are also fire-based characters, but are clunky as hell. But aside from that, he's also got like quick rapid jabs, like his Pause of Fury and such. And I don't know if they would like utilize the whole entire like wheel rotation mechanic from the game. It's just because, like I said, with Chrono's text, I would utilize bringing in different other characters. But they could probably save that as like a Final Smash or something when using combined tech. And Janemba's alt costumes would be really easy. You could just base them on the colors of the other neon creatures. And I just want to say that if he ever does get into Smash, I have a feeling that they will definitely pull the tearjerker for his review trailer and have him on the wanted stage, and then have some female character in the way as the car's coming by, have Janemba knock them off the way, then get Janemba hit by the car. Those of you who have played this series will probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this has been going by really quick. I have one more character to talk about in full, but before that, I just want to do a quick honorable mention and bring up a Silent Hill character. Silent Hill had like one game on a Nintendo console for the Wii that nobody really cares about, and then some canceled DS games, at least as far as I know. But it's just something that I've heard brought up before, and I just think it would be funny and interesting to think of. I don't know if they would do like Pyramid Head, probably not. They would probably do like a protagonist from one of the games, most likely the second one. But, I don't know, just imagine it. But lastly, this character, I feel like, is in this strange area where they have absolutely no chance, but then also maybe a good chance because they're popular, like really popular, even if it's not so much so for Smash discussion, popular-wise. But I'm going to be talking about Monokuma from the Danganronpa series, and aside from Gino, he's probably my most wanted third-party character right now. And I've heard people shoot him off before by saying that they wouldn't put in him, they would put in one of the protagonists, but I feel like he would work better just like character-wise and moveset potential-wise. And plus, like, even if he's, like, not, like, one of the playable protagonists, like Makoto, Hajime, or Kaede, he's, like, the face of the series. Like, he is Mr. Danganronpa. Like, he's who you think of first when thinking of the game. Like, more so than Slime for Dragon Quest. Who would have been in if Hero wasn't allowed, by the way. But yeah, he does all of these like wild and crazy things in the cutscenes. Like he has Monokuma Blast, he shoots spikes off himself. Then he has references, like I think he's used like Street Fighter moves and stuff before he's done like Aura. And they could probably have those references in his moveset, just like more subtle. And then other things I could reference his moveset is executions. Just have them vague, you won't know who it's based off of just looking at it with no context, and it obviously won't be violent, because Nintendo game rated E10+. And if you're at all worried about spoilers anyways, I don't think it's a big deal, especially when like Sheik and Lucina are just like playable walking spoilers. But yeah, while Monokuma is super popular and has like all of this potential and stuff, I feel like that a thing that really makes him not likely to be playable is this big elephant in the room, is the fact that while it's been rumored in the past, Danganronpa as of now has never been on Nintendo console, so there's that big blockade for him. Poor Monokuma. But yeah, for his ults, he could have had Monokuma Cup colors in his talks. But oh well. Anyways, that about does it for now. If there's any unlikely third-party reps that you want to bring up, feel free to do so, but otherwise, thank you.